Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a flip through today of a journal I recently completed. I, this is one of my favorite ones. I know I say that every time, but this is an all sorts book. And for anyone who follows along with when I create journals, every once in a while, I just love making an all sorts book. So I guess some people would call it a commonplace book. I got into the habit of calling it an all sorts book because it just contains all sorts of things. And there's usually no rhyme or reason to it. There's no real theme. It's just stuff I enjoy, I've been saving, and you just never know with each page turn what you're going to get. This is an old dictionary. It's from 1956. So it's 65 years old. It was in pretty sad shape. It did have a bit of water damage to it, but no mold. So that I think the water damage just added to the character. As you'll see, if I lift it up close, it's been well loved and well used. I like to imagine that maybe it was up at a cottage somewhere and it got used for when they played Scrabble and you get challenged. I don't think that's a word kind of book. Um, because the spine was in such poor shape, when I rebuilt it, I did have to cover it up. And I used this beautiful black and red and gold paisley fabric. And so now it's nice and strong. The corners were quite worn and floppy, and now they're nice and solid. And I think they turned out very cute. I added some old lace to along the spine trim, and you'll see here. Let me open this up. I've put in a hidden hollow back spine. So, and what that means is it will lay nicely for you if you want to write, when you want to write in it, or glue in it, or whatever it is that you like to do in your journals. So we'll take a look inside, and just so you know ahead of time, as ever, I always make my journals from repurposed materials wherever possible. So, papers, laces, ribbons, strings. I try my very best to get them from sources such as thrift stores, estate sales, little antique shops, yard sales, rummage sales, happy mail that people have sent to me from a variety of sources. I really try my best to have my junk journals made as close to 100% junk as possible. It's not always possible. For example, if you see in here, there's a washi tape that is new. There's a bulldog clip that is new. If I see something else as we go through it, I'll point it out. But otherwise, thrifted sources, repurposed sources, secondhand sources. It makes for a fun, unique book and one of a kind. So this book is 6 inches by 8.25 inches by about 1.5 inches. It has 196 pages in it of varying sizes. When you open it up, there's some fun Tim Holtz paper as the end papers. This is the original first page that was in the book. And here you will see is the copyright date when it was published. So it says right there, 1956. As I mentioned, it's varying sizes. I love a journal that has lots of different page sizes and orientations. It just makes for every page turn to be more interesting and fun, and your finished product fun. This lace tea-dyed paper came from my friend Nancy at Wishes and Wheats. Where possible, with old books that I have pulled from to use page spreads, I will write down in the corner the year that that book was published. So this Pitman dictation book, the spread came from a 1937 book. This is vintage children's composition book. tea-dyed music composition paper and some vintage lace sewn on the edges. I've left the threads long, but they have been knotted, so if it's not for you, you can trim off these strings. I like them. In the center of this signature, I have put a little tuck pocket and a journaling card, and I used an illustration from the original text block of the dictionary. It was an illustrated dictionary, and I will be sending along some extra pages that I thought had some really cute illustrations on them, and this will go along with the book so that if you want to continue collaging with it or making journaling tags, you'll be able to go ahead and do that. This was also the first opening page of the book, and a little Victorian girl there with a blackboard slate. Here I've done some collaging with a page from the dictionary again. This is from a vintage bingo game, and another little young lady there. And some washi tape down the side here. Again, washi tape, if you see it here, it's new. Every signature in this book will have a full spread from the original text block. This is a page out of a 1922 Bible. This is from the Book of Psalms. It is Psalm 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. This is from a 1985 daybook. First letter out of the alphabet in this dictionary. And it's got an aardvark, of course. This is from a very old Scottish music book. I don't know the year. This spread is from a 10-year gardening diary that I found thrifting a couple years ago, and I love this book. I've made a little paper ruffle up here, so I sewed some on. A little tuck spot here from a book that I found on the history of Crabtree and Evelyn. And it's a tuck spot. I've glued it in purposefully on an angle because I wanted the profile of this book to already give the illusion that it's stuffed full of wonderful, adventurous goodies. So that's why this is on an angle. I used some genuine yellow cellophane tape that I pull off of old books and boxes from things that I've thrifted at stores, and then I reuse it. Sometimes I will use tape that I have created to look old, but in this case, this actually is old tape. A little tip out here. Let me move that over. Journaling space here, and you can see I've sewn on these things. This was from a book that I had on black and white photos of people wearing hats. This came from Happy Mail. It's some Tim Holtz fabric and a little piece of, just a jaggedy little piece of leftover lace. A little bit of Edith Holden and a ruffle made from a dress pattern. A little collaging I felt like doing here, and this is some paper that was in the original text block, and it was completely blank, and I thought, I'm going to tuck that in. That could be journaled on. And I don't know who this handsome young person is. I just rather liked it. Here's some tea-dyed bullet journal paper. This page was from a book on fractures, and it's from 1918. I made a journal out of this book. Oh boy, I think it was last December or January. So, and I still have some of the pages from it, and I really like it. The artwork was fantastic. Lots of big spreads for you to have fun with. And as you can see, there's lots of room for writing, lots of places for collaging. I liked that the word fracture was here and that this came from a book on fractures. Another tip out there. So again, lots of room. Just a little bit of sewing and a little piece of that paisley paper. This is some genuine old ledger paper that I received in Happy Mail. The offcut from that plant garden book page. More paper from Happy Mail. This was from a 1977 book for the Royal Conservatory of Music, an examination book. And then I just sewed and put a little bit of tea-dyed lace up there. Some old graph paper that I've tea-dyed. Here, there's a rusted paper clip that I just did a little curly cue on, and I tied on a string with some little beads. As ever, Sunnyside Journal goes home with a Two Nanas bookmark, and I used some leftovers of the scrapbook paper that was used for the end papers. This is from a needle book that I got at a little antique shop from out in the Kitchener area. And I've made it into a journaling card, but I left it loose because I also thought it might make a cool pocket. It could be glued in and make a pocket, but I thought I'd leave that to the new owner, whether that's something they would like to do. Cute little illustrations in this dictionary. Another tip out, lots of tip outs. A pocket from the offcut of the end papers, and I just did a little collaging with one of the illustrations. I tucked into the pocket. This was a card from a game that I found thrifting once, and it was from 1928, the Cowan Gate Happy Family game. And this is tongue-tied here, Little Master Cheerful, the cheerful mother's son. I just thought he was cute, so I tucked him in there. This is a recipe that I found in a tea tin that was full of recipes from the 1940s. And I just felt like tucking that in there. It's a recipe for pierogies. And I put a kettle on the back just for fun. This is from a book of reprints of old photos of Toronto. And that was a horse diving show that they had here in Toronto. There we go. That's better. Little tab here with some William Morris fabric and sewing again. This is from a 1944 book of music. This is from a first edition Fun with Dick and Jane book. It's in kind of sad shape, but it's so beautiful. The book is literally falling apart. It's from 1946, and it has been so well loved and so well used. And I just wanted to put it in. So, and you can see they're here. Dick and Jane and Sally and Mother and Father are having dinner there. The illustrations are just beautiful. Here is a bulldog clip in sort of an oiled bronze color. This is new. And I've just stuck it here. There's a map of California here. Some stationery that I found just a week or so ago when I was thrifting. So I've just, you can't have a bulldog clip and not have something it's holding. This is from a book that I have from, was published in 1933, and it's about illustrations from the 1860s. And I liked it because they're all reading and learning. The little guy has a slate there that he's working on, and they're all reading books. So I was going to do something with it. It wasn't coming to me, and I thought, well, that means I need to leave it in here and let the next person maybe find something they'd like to do with it. This was from a logbook for a yacht. Here's some more, another spread from that 10-year garden diary. It's been tea dyed. Actually, I think this one was coffee dyed. A little bit of sari silk here that I've sewn down the side there, and a little bit of paper measuring tape. I just put a little tab here. Here, I'll lift this up so you can see it better. And I put a little tag on it. Just a little fun detail. It says 2 francs on it. The other side of Dick and Jane. It had a tear in it, so I went in and I again used genuine cellophane here, not my faux cellophane. This is the real deal. This book is from a book of mathematical tables, and it's from 1916 that I received in Happy Mail. And I just love the size of it, and it's just a fun book full of numbers and calculations so that you didn't have to do it in longhand. And of course, there were no calculators in 1916, so it was in your brain. This is a page just from a little book, like those kind of Hallmark books that you used to give as gifts. Little tuck spot here with some Tim Holtz paper and some washi tape and some more of the paisley fabric, and then a receipt from sometime in the 1900s and some tea-dyed paper. And then I put, oh, that's on the next page here. Hold on. I put a whale tail tab here, and I put a word snippet, and it says passages. The other side of that little Hallmark book. Steno paper. The other side from that Reckoner's book from 1916. I made a journaling card from a flashcard, and I just put a little whale tail again on it with a word snippet, and then it did have it actually had the publisher's name but not the year, so I just put a key there. And then this little collaging here is some more of the paper ruffle that I made. This is from a jigsaw puzzle from the 1940s, a Disney one. That hat is actually one of Donald Duck's nephew's hats. And then I put a word snippet that says courage there. And a little bit of washi tape. This came out of a book that I had on the history of photography. It's just a clock, but I used it to make a tuck spot and put some tea-dyed papers in behind. And there's a little tab of some tatted lace up here. And I just ran the a lace punch along the edge. This page came from some Happy Mail. It's a reprint. I believe it's the 1907 Eaton Company catalog, which for us up here in Canada, our Eaton stores were sort of the equivalent of Sears for the US. See, just lots and lots of room. Although it seems busy, because I had a lot of fun putting my own little touches here and there, you can also see lots and lots of room for you in this book. This is from a book that I have of plates of Audubon illustrations of birds. And it's nice because they're plates. The other side is blank, so lots of room for you to do as you wish with. And then I sewed on a piece of old lace that was, I believe, just from what I know, I think that it got cut off of an old pillowcase. And I just left that, I left the leftover cotton right on it so that you can tell that it had a previous life. And again, this tea-dyed Rolodex card is, actually it's not tea-dyed, it is avocado dyed. And the talented Nancy from Wishes and Weeds sent me that. and I love it. She's got a way with lace, that lady. And here's the final page of the dictionary with the letter Z or Z, depending on where you live. And then the other side of that wonderful Tim Holtz paper that I used as end papers. And I just put in my own little Sunnyside journals there, and as ever, I've just put my little John Hancock there. So that is the Tour of Words. This book will be available in my Etsy shop. If you're interested, you could go over and take a look. The link will be listed down below. I'm not sure what time it will be listed. Probably most likely maybe around, how's that for being definite, around 5 p.m. today, which is Thursday. So approximately. I'll put up a notice on Instagram, and as well, if you favorited my shop, your app should let you know when it appears in the shop. You'll get that little notification. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this little flip through of words. I have purposefully made it look raggedy and well loved. Even though it was already quite raggedy, I made it look even more raggedier. And I really, really love how this book turned out. This was just a pure pleasure to make. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.